My name is Eli Saragoussi, and I am here at the Lyndon House Art Center in Athens, Georgia. I am a local artist who builds all sorts of whimsical things, including dioramas like this one that I'm sitting in right now. Today, we're going to build your own little whimsical, fantastical world in a shoebox diorama. So, the fun thing about building dioramas is you can pull from anything. It can be a little snapshot of a memory, it can be a little idea that you had yesterday or a dream that you had last night. It's totally up to you. So this is a little example that I made the other day. A little sunny afternoon with some purple mountains and all kinds of little fun characters in there, including a lovely water feature with some fish. But the great thing about this project is we're going to be able to use materials that you can find in your home, especially inside of your recycling bin. So some of the things you're going to need are, of course, a shoebox. There's plenty of sizes and styles of shoebox, and it doesn't matter what you use. This one is similar to the one we'll be using today, and it has a lid that's attached. And I kind of like this style because it gives for a little bit more room to have our base in order to put all of our little creatures and plants. Besides the shoebox, I have here a collection of various colored construction paper. You're going to need a pair of scissors, a glue stick, various coloring and writing tools. I have a pen here. Of course, you can use things like crayons or markers. Whoops. But it's totally up to you, and you can be as creative as you like. Use all kinds of different collage materials or coloring tools, or even little figurines that you might have in your room. So let's move this little guy. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is create a little scene, a little landscape that we're going to put all of our little creatures and plants and objects inside. So I went ahead and got started a little bit, but as you can see here, I'm making a little night sky with stars and some clouds, and you'll see in a second a little moon and this nice grassy field. But the way that I take my construction paper is I just use this piece of construction paper and kind of eyeball the size by laying it on top of each panel that I'm cutting it to fit on top of, and just sort of crease it and then just cut along the line and use my glue stick to set it inside the panel. So I have already collaged my back panel, and I have yet to glue it, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that with y'all. So I'm gonna take my nifty glue stick and just coat the back of the construction paper with a nice heavy dose of glue so it sticks on there real well. And then we're going to take our diorama shoebox and just sort of slide her in there, the back. And I pre-measured this piece so that it fits real snugly here in this back panel. All right. Okay, so there we go. A little nice, peaceful night scene. I think I might add a little water feature similar to this little guy. We have a little accident here with our fish, but as you can see, they're swimming nicely. But I already cut out a little pond, and I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna take my glue stick, coat the back of this paper, glue her in there. All right, so now that we have this all done, you have your little world kind of decorated in there, and you can do all types of things, including maybe like a space scene with some planets. You could do your room and maybe put some windows in the background here looking out to your backyard. But now we get to do the fun part, and that is building all of our little creatures in here that live inside of our world. And oftentimes in dioramas, these little pieces are adhered permanently to the world, to the base of the world. But I really like making dioramas that are a little bit more malleable so that you can move and switch things around at your leisure. Just like this diorama that I'm in right now. All these pieces come out and can be moved around as I please. So I'm going to show you a really easy way to make a stand, just like these ones, that allow for these little pieces to stand without any other support. So what you're going to need is some super lightweight cardboard. This is a cereal box. I also have a Cheez-Its box if you prefer crackers to breakfast foods. But I went ahead and cut off one of the side panels of this cereal box. So this part here. Here you go. And I really like this super light cardboard because it's super sturdy and it gives a really great back to our objects, but it's also really easy to cut, so you can be a little bit more intricate if you choose to be. So I'm going to take this lightweight cardboard, I'm going to move this aside for a second, and I think I'm going to use some of this green construction paper, and I'm going to coat one side of this cardboard strip. Real healthy dose of glue here so it sticks on well. And I'm going to just smack that on this construction paper. Kind of line it up with the edge so that we have less to cut. And then I'm going to fold along the bottom part of this strip. So as you can see here. And I'm going to put some glue along the other side of the construction paper and cardboard. And I'm going to just slap it all together. So we've sandwiched the cardboard in between this little sheet of construction paper. And now I'm going to trim off the excess. And there we go. We have this nice little strip of cardboard covered in green construction paper. And I'm using green because I think it'll look nice on the base of my diorama, but you can use any color you want. So I have a little strip here that's already dry, and as you can tell, I've already cut a little wedge out of there. But what you're going to want to do is cut a little half circle on one of the edges. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. It's about 1 inch long. You can sort of just eyeball it. It doesn't matter too much how perfect it is. There we go. We got our little half circle. And now you're going to go ahead and cut a tiny wedge in the top part here. So it's truly just a tiny slice of pie out of the top of this half circle. There we go. And I'm just going to set that aside for now, and we'll use that in a moment. Okay, now we get to create all of our little characters. You're going to need your lightweight cardboard again. I'm going to use this cereal box. And go ahead and pick a color of construction paper. I think I'm going to use this pink here. Ta-da! And I'm going to cut out a little rectangle and glue that down onto the cardboard. So So I draw a lot of my ideas from my dreams, because for some reason I have some pretty wild dreams, and so a lot of these little plants that I create, like this garden that I'm immersed in right now, those are just from my imagination, from places I've visited in the dream world. But I also really love visiting science museums, and I draw a lot of inspiration from kind of crazy animals from the jungle or from the desert. So now that we have our little piece of paper glued to our cardboard, we can go ahead and cut out a shape, a character, whatever you choose. So you can see in here we've got lots of little guys, and you can be super simple to make a really nice pop. It really doesn't need to be real detailed. As you can see here, there's a lot of color and detail going on just with the overlapping of like the various creatures and plants. So I think I'm gonna take a crayon here and just kind of draw a basic little shape. And then I'm gonna take some scissors and cut out my shape. And just one thing to notice is I made sure that my shape lined up with the flat portion of the cardboard, so it'll stand up nicely when we set it in our diorama. Okay, I'm gonna cut out this shape. All right, so now we have this cool little shape. I think it'll make like a nice little bush that'll fill up our world nicely. And so now, in order to attach the little stand we made with the little bush, is we're just gonna cut a small slit, the same similar kind of wedge, into the base of our object, plant or whatever. As you can see there, got this tiny little wedge, and now we're going to crisscross them together, creating like kind of a plus sign. And sometimes you have to adjust the wedge slightly so it's a little longer, and just make sure that the two bases line up so they're nice and flat together, so you can see. And there you go. Perfect. All right, so I went ahead and cut out a bunch of little shapes and creatures that we can go ahead and put inside of our little world here. And like I said, you can do any sort of coloring ideas that you might have. I went ahead and collaged some different colored construction papers on top of each other, and then like on some of these I used pen to sort of decorate the creatures. It's totally up to you how you want to create your personal world. So let's do a few of these little guys. So I'm just creating a few more little stands by cutting these half circles out of this green coated cardboard. Okay, and now I'm just going to cut my little wedges in and cut a little wedge on this rabbit dude and put it together. Yeah, and sometimes you just kind of have to eyeball it, and a little bit of trial and error, which is definitely a way I enjoy to work. All right, perfect. Look at that. Got a little bunny rabbits. So yeah, there you go. I hope y'all had a good time. Thank you. Bye.